The stars stretched endlessly across the velvet sky, but Kai's ship felt smaller than ever. Alone in the cockpit, he traced the glowing control panel with his fingers, mindlessly, until a sudden distress signal flickered across the screen. The coordinates led him to the outer edge of the Veyra Nebula, a region notorious for violent plasma storms and derelict vessels. Without hesitation, he engaged his engines. The hum of the ship's thrusters echoed like a heartbeat in the silence of space. When he arrived, he couldn't believe his eyes. A sleek, silver vessel, unlike any human craft he had ever seen, spun helplessly, its energy shields flickering under the barrage of the nebula's electric storms. Inside, a voice crackled over the comm. "Emergency! Systems failing. Please anyone help." Kai's fingers tightened on the controls. "I've got you," he muttered, though he had no idea what he was about to face. Docking was impossible with the storm raging around them. But Kai was skilled and desperate. He maneuvered his ship beside the failing craft, using his tractor beam to stabilize it. Sparks flew as the beam clamped onto the alien hull, and the vessel groaned under the strain. "Almost there," Kai whispered, beads of sweat forming on his brow. With a final surge of power, he locked the ship into position. The distress signal cut off abruptly, replaced by silence. And then a hatch opened. She tumbled out, or rather, leapt with grace that made Kai's jaw drop. A fox girl, her amber eyes wide with fear, her tail flicking nervously behind her. Her silver hair seemed to float around her in the absence of gravity. She looked like a creature out of a dream, one that belonged to no world he knew. "Thank you," she said, voice trembling, melodic and soft. "I'm Feya. My ship, without your help, it would have been destroyed." Kai extended a hand. "Kai, you're safe now. Let me get you aboard." She hesitated for only a moment before she took his hand. Her fingers were cool, almost ethereal, and when she touched him, it felt like electricity, but softer, gentler. Inside his ship, Feya couldn't stop looking at everything. Every panel, every light seemed foreign to her. "Your ship," she murmured. "It's different. Human technology." Her tail flicked in curiosity and caution. Kai shrugged modestly. "It's old. But it works. You should rest. The storm's not over yet." "Rest?" She shook her head. I can't leave yet." Kai raised an eyebrow. "Why?" Feya's ears flattened, a sign he quickly learned was her way of expressing unease. "Because I don't want to." Kai blinked. He'd rescued her. That should have been enough. "You're free to leave whenever you like," he said carefully. "I won't stop you." She gave a small, almost imperceptible shake of her head. "No. Feel safer here. With you." There was something in the way she said it, like she had never felt safety before. And though it made Kai uncomfortable, this deep, instinctive need to protect a stranger, it also made him strangely warm inside. Over the next few days, Kai and Feya worked together to repair her ship. He marveled at her knowledge of her own vessel. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen, but she was clearly inexperienced in handling human tools. And she refused to let him take over entirely, often leaning close to guide his hands, her tail brushing against him accidentally, but always leaving a spark of electricity in the contact. One evening, as the nebulous storm raged outside the reinforced hull, Feya sat beside him in the cockpit, staring at the stars. "Humans," she whispered. "You are resilient. Not like we are." He chuckled. "We survive. That's what we do. And it looks like you do too." She smiled faintly, her ears twitching. "I should return home, but I don't want to leave your side yet." Kai looked at her, seeing not just a stranded alien, but someone fragile yet fierce, someone who trusted him when she had every reason not to. "Then stay," he said softly. "You're welcome here. As long as you like." Her amber eyes widened, and for the first time a laugh escaped her, a sound like chimes in a gentle wind. "Stay," she repeated, almost in disbelief. You're not afraid that I'm strange?" Kai shook his head. "No, not afraid. That's enough." And that was the beginning. Feya stayed. Days became weeks. She explored his ship, learned human ways, and shared stories of her home, a distant world full of forests where creatures like her thrived. In return, Kai shared his own world, teaching her how to fly his ship through asteroid belts, how to brew the bitter coffee he loved, and the small joys of human life she had never known. But it wasn't just companionship, it was something deeper. Feya began to follow him wherever he went on the ship, her presence constant and comforting. She refused to leave his side, and he didn't want her to. There was a rhythm to it, a quiet bond that neither had expected but both cherished. One night, as they floated above the swirling colors of the Veyra Nebula, Feya rested her head on Kai's shoulder. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving me. For everything." Kai placed a hand on her head, smoothing her hair. "You don't have to thank me. You're not alone anymore. And you never will be." She looked up at him, amber eyes glinting in the starlight. "Then I'll stay. Not because I have to, but because I want to." And in that moment, Kai realized that some rescues aren't just about saving a life. They're about finding a connection that changes both worlds forever. The storm outside had subsided. Stars glimmered across the dark expanse. Two ships, once strangers in the void, now traveled together. One human, one fox girl, and neither of them would ever be alone again. Days turned into weeks, and Feya's presence became a constant in Kai's life. She explored his ship with wide-eyed curiosity, learning human ways while sharing stories of her distant home, a forested planet where foxkin thrived. Yet, no matter how much she discovered, she refused to leave his side. One quiet evening, the two sat in the cockpit, the Veyra Nebula swirling in colors around them. Feya rested her head lightly on Kai's shoulder, her amber eyes reflecting the stars. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving me, and for letting me stay." Kai brushed a lock of silver hair behind her ear. "You don't need to thank me. You're not alone anymore. And you never will be." Her ears twitched, and her tail flicked softly. "I should return to my world," she murmured. "But I want to stay. With you." Kai's heart tightened, a warmth spreading through him he hadn't expected. "Then stay," he said quietly. "Not because you have to, but because you want to. That's enough." Feya's lips curved into a small, genuine smile, the first he had seen since he rescued her. She leaned closer, her head against him again, her tail brushing against his leg. In that moment, there was no human or alien, no savior or saved. Only two beings who had found comfort and trust in each other. Outside, the storm had faded, leaving a calm sky glittering with distant suns. Two ships floated side by side through the endless expanse of stars, their fates intertwined. Kai glanced at Feya, and she met his gaze with a look that spoke louder than words. For the first time, he understood that some rescues weren't just about saving lives. They were about finding a connection that could change everything. And in that quiet, shared silence, Feya made her choice. She wouldn't leave. Not now. Not ever.